Sometimes it takes a punch in the face before you can really learn a lesson. Me and my two best friends, Chris and Lance, are practicing rock crawling to prep for a bucket list trip to the Rubicon Trail. So we drove a little trail called Diff Hanger in the Idaho Owyhees that taught us our first real lesson. You're not truly rock crawling unless you're scraping things, pushing your vehicle to its limit, and finding that line between fun and fear. And we found it over and over again.
Dude, I've aged.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
Whew, good morning from the Owyhees. We are out at a trail called Diff Hanger. Now this trail is a rock crawling trail that's a little bit harder than the last one we did, which was a trail called Lost Trail. So we're getting out, we're doing more rock crawling, we're trying to prep for the Rubicon Trail, which we're doing later this summer. And so it's me in my 392, Chris in his JK, and Lance in his Bronco Raptor. We're about to hit this trail, which is right through that canyon back there you might be able to see. And so we're just gonna air down and get in there and see what we find. Chris Topher, are you nervous about doing a Diff Hanger today?
Yeah, I am, because we were kind of having this conversation on the way over. I don't consider not consider myself a rock crawler, but I'm not a rock crawler. I'm an overlander, and I'm kind of looking at this like going to school and kind of developing my skills a little bit.
So Lance, how do you feel about doing Diff Hanger?
I wish I had a diff skid.
Yeah, that's legitimate concern.
I've been thinking about it, and then you come to a trail called Diff Hanger, and you're like, maybe I should have bought that.
So a Wrangler 392, a JKU, and a B Raptor drive into a rock crawling canyon in the Owyhees. This could either be the start of an epic adventure or the start of a joke. And honestly, I'm not quite sure how it turned out in the end. As we approached the canyon, we were greeted with a rock garden. Now, we've been through these before, but this one looked just gnarly enough to make for a slow start.
It's just doozy enough to live up to the name Diff Hanger. So there's a bunch of boulders that we're navigating, but there's a couple of big ones that kind of stick in the middle. And I'm sure this is not why it's called Diff Hanger, but I did just hit something. What I'm gonna do is just try to keep my tires on big rocks. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Will. Just like that, Chris.
Right on, thanks guys. Honestly, I'm still learning how to feather the gas on this 392 because it's just a lot different than driving a JK. But honestly, this middle clutch suspension is just like sticking and rolling and kind of just, I don't know, it feels like almost like I'm driving a boat. Okay, so I'm gonna take it a little passenger so I can make sure my back tire doesn't scrape on that. Is that right there? Does that look good?
With my 392 on 38s through, Chris and his JKU was next. But Chris had less practice at this than Lance and I, so he was feeling less confident.
I know you guys, you've had some experience there at Moab, and it's kind of fun seeing like when you guys came back, like just like how much your confidence had built, and I'm not quite there yet.
Chris, do you have your sway bar disconnected?
My sway bar is broken.
Your sway bar is connected and broken.
Yeah, so.
Are you in rear lock?
I got rear lock. And I mean, I could pull a couple of bolts and I have some zip ties and disconnect it manually, but.
I've got tools.
Yeah, I got tools too, so we'll see.
Good luck, sir.
Now Chris is rolling on 37-inch BFG KO2s on top of a 4.5-inch Metal Cloak Game Changer suspension with Rockport shocks. So his Jeep is no slouch. It was more about getting him comfortable with the feel of it in a purely rock crawling setting. Sensing his unease, I came out to offer him a spot, something that anyone who's attempting a technical trail should be okay asking for. With Chris through, it was time for Lance to bring the B Raptor over the rock garden, and we were all interested to see how it would do.
There you go. Good. Now, driver's coming up. Good. You want to go? You want to turn faster just a bit? Yep. You're almost there, though. Okay. Oh, you got it. Okay. There you go. You're on. There you go. There your tire's on. little rock garden of the day, and you're already breaking your controller, man.
This thing.
This is IFS problems, man.
Oh, shut the
If the rock garden was a warm-up, the next obstacle was a gatekeeper. Literally, it looked like a narrow gate made of rock. And waiting on the other side were more twists and turns and bigger rocks. But this is what we were here for. To squeeze through here, I decided to climb up one side of the rock wall. But there was a larger boulder right in front of my back passenger tire that I also had to navigate. Any slips on the rock here could cause damage, and to be honest, I wasn't quite ready to do that to my very expensive 392.
Back passenger is going to go way up. Slow off the rock. Keep coming. Passenger.
Is this right, Lance?
Yep, hang on. You got to get this tire over by your camera.
I'm sure there was a better line than the one I took, but I was happy to have squeezed through without scraping anything. However, that was just the first piece of this puzzle. Next, I had to navigate a tight hairpin turn around a rock spire and then up a boulder field.
Oh yeah, I can see how this is gonna work. Yeah, I see it. I'm fighting my steering column at the moment. Driver, okay. Oh, I see.
Finnegan, my 392, made the corner just fine, but the boulder field on the other side was looking more and more intimidating as I approached it.
Okay, that feels good. Yeah. Pause. This is good for Lance. He's learning how to spot. It feels just fine. It's just that sometimes Lance is saying a lot and I only catch a little. So here's what I think. I think I'm gonna sit down on this pocket right here, and then when I can, I'm just gonna go hard driver and take this line. Yeah, I think I'm gonna be fine on it, but I can see that I can get on that rock. Is that okay, Lance? Lance is just like shouting stuff at me.
At this point, everyone was focused on our own problems, and we weren't listening to each other very well.
Oh, sorry, dude. I didn't mean. I just went the wrong way on accident.
So I'm trying to...
Yeah, I can't see that at all. I can't even see this rock from
No,
here.
that's why I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, I know you have like a plan.
No, I don't.
tell you that
I
you
don't.
can't do
All I can see is my front, my passenger front and rear. So.
What I'm trying to do is get this tire back here.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to get you to go passenger reverse to here.
So then I can take
Then
this line
your
over here.
angle's going to go like this. And then you can
Yeah.
do the line that you
Okay. All right. Yeah. Great. Got it. I'm not trying to not do what you're saying, by the way. It's incompetence. It's not stubbornness. Yeah, just say the opposite, and that's what I'll do.
I'm like passenger. I'm like or driver.
I think we have our line now.
This quick huddle and reset got us back in sync as a team. It was the right moment to let off a little pressure, reassure ourselves that we were working for each other, and to get moving again. And it wasn't the last time we need to do something like this.
Much better.
And I want you to go driver now.
Yeah, I got you. Okay. That's sick. This part feels a little bit like a comedy of errors, but it's going nicely. I don't think there's any problem.
I was now moving toward a very large boulder. My confidence after navigating the gatekeeper was soaring, so I thought I'd just go up and over it. No big deal. And I think you know what might have happened next.
This is what I was afraid of. So I am now what we call turtle, which means I'm basically high centered. So I started climbing over this rock, and the breakover angle, which is basically the space between your four tires, your two axles. Jeeps have a really good breakover angle, but there are still things that they can't do. That's why people build buggies and things. And so here I am kind of pancaked on a rock, and we're just trying to get me unstuck.
So my Jeep was the first to pull line for the day, but it wouldn't be the last. And getting stuck on that rock reminded me what we were actually trying to do on this trip.
What's interesting though is like when we're overlanding, we're used to like finding lines that avoid the really hard stuff. you know, because we're trying to get from point A to point B and we're trying to get camp.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at these things and thinking like, well, what's the hard line? You know, like it's almost flipped.
Yeah, I think so. It is definitely a shift in mindset.
Now it was Chris's turn to snake through the gatekeeper and up the boulder field. And not surprisingly, he did fantastic. The JKU has slightly better dimensions for skirting around obstacles, and even though he had a few tight spots, nothing proved to be a problem. Lance got more practice in spotting, and Chris slowly crept, or crawled, if you will, up the boulder field.
I can see your undercarriage.
I was gaining confidence in Chris, but I'm not sure he was, or at least not in this moment. But he trusted us to get him up that hill, and that's what we did.
You got it, you got it, you got it. How you feeling, Chris?
Better now.
Yeah, now's the hard part.
We got an IFS coming.
The Bronco Raptor is wide, very wide. It's 11 inches wider than the Jeep JL, and at almost 86 inches, it's as wide as a Hummer. So we were all anxious about how it would do on the gatekeeper. Luckily, we'd been through it a few times and can help give Lance a good line, and Lance is an excellent driver with an innate sense for rock crawling. But some things just aren't made to fit. And while Lance rammed his way through the initial gate, the hairpin corner was very tight. The extra wide fenders on the Raptor were not really made for pinching rock spires, so we had to get his front passenger tire way up kitty corner on a rock, which put him off camber, but gave him enough space to clear the corner. But being that far off camber made us all a bit queasy.
You're gonna start to drop right now.
Yeah, the only thing that happens is
Stop, you should stop. No, okay. You're about to get kicked up in your back.
But unfortunately for Lance, the position the corner put him in caused him to get hung up on his control arm mounts.
You mean like rocking him just from one side? Okay, so here we are, we're not very far into this trail and we've had to winch twice. So Lance is back there, he's turtled. He's just got two rocks that are holding up his high centering his rig basically on his rock slider. So I don't think anything is getting damaged under there, but he's got no traction. So let's see if he can get out. All right, so here's what we're doing. We're gonna run a double line to pull that heavy beast off the rocks over there. And we're using the Factor 55 snatch block. I'm not exactly sure what that's called, but I'm gonna call it a snatch block. And Warren winch. And that tree strap though, I don't know what that is. And that toe strap there gives me a little heartburn. All right, we've come to our senses and we've decided to use the Factor 55 tree strap as well. So we're doubled up on, or toe straps, sorry. We're doubled up on toe straps.
there he goes. Ooh.
It's important to know that none of us consider ourselves to be rock crawlers, and we fully understand that what might be hard for us is child's play to others, but we're on a mission to improve, and this trail already was making us better by challenging us in new ways. But just when we thought the hard parts were over, Diff Hanger served up a few more surprises. We came to a few rocks in the road, and I classically underestimated them. Luckily, my 38-inch Nitto trail grapplers helped smooth out a lot of my mistakes, as well as give good grip on the rocks. But the truth is, you don't need good grip on a lot of these rocks out here. In fact, it's kind of like running your tires through a cheese grater. The pitch angles Chris saw me go through were enough to convince him to take the bypass, which is a good decision for anyone feeling unsure about an obstacle. At this point, we were about 3/4 of a mile in, and we still had a long way to go. I kept thinking we'd start speeding things up, but that literally never happened, particularly on the next section, which must be the namesake for the trail because I got very hung up on my diff. So much so that I needed Chris to winch me up and over it. There was no bypass on this one for Chris, but again, his JKU did amazingly well. He took a different line from me and had no real issues getting through. The next section of the trail would be a very different story though, for all of us. So this is what we would call a V-notch that I'm gonna try to do here. Basically, there's a big, huge boulder on my passenger side,
and there's a rock wall on my driver's side, and my intent is to put tire on the big rock and a tire on the rock wall.
We have all since agreed that this was the actual hard part of the trail.
I don't know if I can do that. I can't do that, Lance.
We're no longer going up the wall.
I understand that, but I can't. So just give me, I gotta get a little bit farther back because the steering's bound up.
This last bit of canyon was like nothing we'd seen before yet, and it stressed us out. Lance had to take a break from spotting to cool himself off and calm down because the anxiety of making mistakes was compounded by the fact that we'd been at this for hours now. To stay off the wall and avoid body damage, my Jeep was at full flex constantly. Every rock stuffed one tire and stretched out the other, which made steering really difficult and started making me second guess my abilities.
This is where as you get backwards and then you come to full lock or full straight, this might be front lock.
Right, because I'm just keeping
Because you're just gonna go straight.
Yeah. Okay, let me try that.
I kept creeping through this canyon that looked like a bad concrete job. Rocks protruding out of petrified ash that give your tires lots of places to bump, skid, and in some cases, fall off. But with the help of my friends, I made it through and could regroup to help them do the same thing.
Okay, I have to say, that was not fun.
Driver, go. It was just the bead,
What was that noise?
the tire.
Oh, is it starting to lose its bead?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And just roll it through right there. Nice job, dude. I know that's stressful. I know from personal experience.
Yeah. Well, and then like the sound of like losing my bead.
Yeah.
That was.
I've never heard that sound before.
What's your pressure?
I didn't know what it was.
It's still good.
That's what happened to me earlier. You
Yeah.
guys didn't hear
I didn't hear. I thought that was a mechanical thing. I was like, oh no, we busted a hose or something.
Yeah.
Back tire on this side looks good. Now you want him to come. Driver. I don't know. I don't think so. Because he can't crank it. He can roll over that. He can roll over it. Whoa, hold.
Hold.
You're going to come out of this just fine. Yep. Well done, sir. You kept your cool. That could have been... I'm sure that was stressful.
It was stressful for sure.
Well done, though.
Thanks.
Hey, isn't rock crawling fun? Whew, okay, well, it started raining. Not too bad, though. Well, I was a little nervous when it started raining, but it's not great. It does make the rock a little more slick. But this is jagged enough rock that there should still be plenty of purchase. So Lance is going to come up in his Bronco. And in some ways, I think it might be easier for the Bronco because he can reach things that we couldn't in the Jeeps. But we'll see. I am nervous for the Bronco because I took some body damage, and I would hate for him to take body damage too.
As Lance and his extra wide Bronco Raptor started the last canyon in the rain, he was immediately met with issues.
Okay. Yes. Now straighten.
As the Bronco started working through the canyon in the rain, there were instances where the wide reach helped in the V-notches, but others where the lack of flex put pressure on him as a driver.
You just scraped on your slider. And maybe your bumper. You look real. You look like you had muscle.
Yeah, this is not flat.
This is max vehicle stress mode.
It is. Yes, I feel you. Good. Okay, slow. Bring it. Keep bringing it. Stupid rock. There you go.
The last major obstacle was tilting him into a boulder on one side of the canyon.
Actually, stop. Back up. Now you're too high. Yes. Slow.
After some repositioning, we found a line that might squeeze him through.
Yeah. Good. Now, just a little bit. Good. Keep coming. You got it. Slow, Lance. Slow. You got it, buddy. Okay. We all had the same experience.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been initiated now somehow.
Dude, I've aged.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I think we were all just like really stressed. So I think we'll look back on it and remember it as good and fun, but it's like type 2 fun. In the moment, it's like stressful. And so let's go get out of this rock garden and take stock of the damage and scrapes that we've put on our very nice, very expensive rigs today. Okay, well, it's time to take stock of the damage. So let's start with wheels and tires, then we'll look underneath. So first, let's look at the 392. It straight up took...
This is what I got scared about, is I thought you were taking your brake light off, and you just
missed it.
Touched
But
it.
shredded this thing, like literally shredded this like a cheese grater, this extension piece, and then just totally took the paint off here. So a little bit of rash there. Yep, not too bad. Let's look at this one. Yeah, I got some rashing there. Thank you, diff hanger. Wow, look at this. That used to be attached. Some good scratches down here. Oh yeah. Oh, we got some scrapage. Definitely got some rashing. Oh yeah, look at that control bracket. And then all these skids took a beating today. So this is why it's nice to have that metal cloak Under Armour, because I took a beating and it protected everything that was under there.
Let's see. I got some scratches.
Yep.
Some beauty marks.
Yep. Let's look underneath, dude.
Yeah.
Like, oh yeah, your control arm drop bracket. Yeah. Like your muffler took a little scrape there.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. Not too bad.
Oh yeah.
Some frame scrapes. Definitely some sliders and things. Those brackets.
All these.
Yep. Bolts and things.
Yeah.
It's nothing bad though.
No.
Nothing critical.
No, definitely not. And the thing is that people look at it and say like, oh, yeah, it's a Jeep. It's supposed to have any marks on the skid plates and stuff. But like me, I baby this thing, and so these things were like pristine.
Lance, let's take stock, dude. Let's take stock of the Bronco.
Bronco took the most damage.
You think?
Shocking.
Damage.
Shocking.
Oh, look at your tires, dude. Holy cow. You win for most rash.
Well, okay,
holy
we're
crap.
86 inches wide.
Yeah.
Which is the main reason I like almost didn't buy this damn thing, because it was the width. And the width came into play today.
You got a little fender scrape there too?
Yeah, so I kissed here and there. It actually ripped the bud off. It pulled the fender out, but we were able to stick it back in. It didn't break the clips, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Underneath the standard, what's really cool about this is if you look at the front control arm, you saw how much hits it took.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You don't even see.
No, those are
like,
beefy, but
you look at it's like you don't even see the damage. These are like skids. You can see I just torched the whole thing. It might be a pinhole.
put a little hole in it. It's gonna sound better now.
Oh yeah. Took some of this, but these are beefy and just scrapes.
Yeah.
A little bit on the horn itself.
It always sounds and feels bad when you hit, but
as a diff hanger, I got nothing on my diff.
Yeah, I got a diff neck. But it's nice to know that crunching and scraping sound that's happening on parts that are made to do it.
Right.
Well, that was diff hanger. It was a heck of a trail. I only think it was maybe like 1 mile long, and it took us all day long. We learned a lot. We suffered a little bit. We got stressed out, but this is all good practice for Rubicon. It's coming up here in just like maybe a month and a half. So I'm glad we're getting out in here and practicing this stuff. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, I'm Will from Venture to Rome. Thanks for watching.
Sit in the shade.
Yeah, let's go find some shade.
Maybe I bring an awning.